Hello everybody, welcome back to another First Impressions, a first look, a let's look at, whatever you want to call it. This game is called the Universim, made by Grativo Games. It is a planet management, a planet management, and a god game at the same time, essentially. So the basic gist is you get some people here and you kind of build up your civilization across the world, and we can zoom out here and see a good portion of the world here. You can see our little established area right there. Essentially, the whole point is to kind of colonize the planet, and you go through the ages, right? So you have like Stone Age, Bronze Age, Medieval Age, Modern Age, Space Age, all that good stuff. The cool thing is once you get to the Space Age, you can leave your planet and go to other planets that are randomly generated. So the environment, the habitability. Oh, I hope that's a word. The habitability is all random. The creatures there could be random if there are any creatures at all. Right now, the game is in a pre-alpha state, so you're only able to access the Stone Age and not the complete amount of the Stone Age, even. That being said, I wanted to start the video out here, kind of in a more more progressed state of the game, just so you guys can kind of get the ultimate sense of it. So we have farms, we have different unique buildings that we'll get into here once we restart. So I want to just kind of give you a brief overview here of kind of what you can accomplish in the alpha so far, or the pre-alpha rather. It is designed for about 20 minutes of gameplay before the game kind of starts breaking, more or less. So it is pre-alpha, so there will be bugs, and we'll just have to be aware of that. Like like when we were playing Stonehearth way back in the day, there were building bugs, there were all sorts of different bugs that kept popping up and kind of impeding our ability to play the game. But that being said, let's go ahead and hit this restart button. There is no save function. Very important note for anyone who wishes to play the game or kind of get into the pre-alpha state of it. There is no save options, so essentially you can play and then you can restart. They're going to be adding those features later on. You can see down here at kind of the bottom of the screen, if you wanted to pause the video, it is saying that this is a pre-alpha game. Play with tutorials, no. I'm going to say no. Select a location for your people, great. We're going to close that. That's just the patch notes. So you start out here on the mother planet, which is essentially just kind of the pre-alpha kind of test bed for the developers here to get a good idea of what's working and what's not. The developers have been really, really good in terms of kind of responding to bugs that people are putting in, and just general like gameplay stuff. So what we have here is essentially our central building, kind of your town hall, your epicenter. Actually, I believe it's called epicenter, so that was kind of spot on. Let's go ahead and place it down. Yep, that. Let's go ahead and try again to place it down here. Maybe we move. Maybe we don't like that spot, as a matter of fact here. It's a good spot though, you know? Let me place it down right there. Yes. Perfect, okay. Oh boy, this is hit the Stone Age. So you start with two people here. They are called nuggets, and they're gonna kind of be your main people here. So in the upper left-hand corner is where you can assign them jobs and responsibilities. So we're gonna put one to harvest food, one to harvest wood. We're going to apply that, and they're going to go about their business. It looks like we even have one. Geez, do we already have two? We already have two kids here as well. The kids will mature very, very fast, and then you'll be able to put them to work. So really, the whole basis of the game is to kind of set up your town. And these games really, really appeal to me. Like, if I'm playing Darkest Dungeon, or if I'm playing like Rocket League, or I'm playing some MOBA or something like that, sometimes at the end of the day, or if you're getting really salty in like Hearthstone or something like that, you kind of want to just sit back and play a game that's going to be very, very relaxing, that you don't have to think too much about. And this is the kind of game that will do that for you. So Up here we have the seasons. The seasons do become important, as a matter of fact, once you start building farms, because you'll be able to plant certain crops that withstand different temperatures. So kind of like almost like Banished in a way. So if you've ever played Banished, you'd be familiar with you can plant stuff in your farms, but you have to harvest them before the winter comes, otherwise you can lose your entire harvest and then everybody starts dying and terrible time happens. It's a little bit of a slower game, so it's very slow paced, especially starting out, as you can probably see here. You essentially just have people kind of running around, grabbing trees. They're going to grab rocks here in a little bit once we get some more people here to mature into workable adults. And then they will essentially breed on their own, so you don't really have to do too much in terms of managing the population. You kind of just have to make sure that they have all the resources they need, such as food and building materials and all that good stuff. So down here we can see that we have those 2 children that just matured. So we can go back up to our priority panel and we can set 1 to mine some stone for us, and we're going to set 1 builder. And the way the building works here, I'm still a little undecided about. So they will build stone huts. And that's where your people, reside or live in. I just hit my microphone. Sorry if that made a terrible noise to you. They'll build stone huts, but they build them randomly, kind of just wherever they want, more or less. And the only reason I don't like that so far, and you can make an argument like, hey, it's my city, my civilization. You want to lay it out however you want, and that's fine. That's not what really bugs me. What really bugs me is there's certain buildings, such as farms, where you can do modular add-ons to them that expand like the amount of fields you can have, so on and so forth. But if your people decide to build a stone hut right in front of your farm, that is no longer a viable option, so the farms kind of lose some of their value, right? In that sense. So that's the only thing that's really bugged me about it so far. Otherwise, I don't really mind it, because I imagine, in the later phases of the game, you're going to have multiple planets. You're going to be managing kind of the more overarching things and not so much the individual, like, city building aspects, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. So, while they do this, they're going to do it slowly, so don't worry. Let's take a look at the research. So, in the Universim, there are really 3 different major branches that you can kind of branch out in, rather. So, you kind of have, the languages, which kind of advances certain things like tools and community. You're going to have stuff in terms of like agriculture. So, you have stockpiles, you're going to have farms, you're going to have husbandry, and just your overall kind of ability to transport those resources back and forth. Up here, you're going to have stuff like fire, you're going to have cooking, hunting, stuff like that. And it also branches out into spirituality and medicine. So this will be kind of more of the science tree. This will be more of like the, I would imagine like cultural, and this will be more of like the agricultural tree, I guess. This is all subject to change, of course, so who really knows? The one thing that kind of weirded me out a little bit is like you can get farms ultimately like at the same time you can get hunting, but and this is very nitpicky, so don't take this to heart or against the game by any means, but right, like people, depending on, I guess, what you believe and all that, they kind of did gathering and hunting kind of simultaneously, more or less, and then agriculture was the thing that really set them apart and allowed them to make big communities and kind of live together and kind of settle down more or less and not be those wandering hunter-gatherer tribes and all of that. But that's very nitpicky, like I said, so don't take that to heart by any means. We're going to go for a stockpile first and foremost, so we'll go ahead and research that. And then, as you're researching things, That's kind of cool, makes a little ripple effect. You can also queue up other things to research, so we may as well like queue up the farm. We may as well queue up some of this other stuff too. Maybe like I don't think we can use wheel yet. I don't think that does anything for us. Fire doesn't do anything for us, so maybe we'll just do like awareness and call it good. So we can go back here, and like I said, a little bit slower game. So they're starting on the stone hut right now. We have another person that we can assign a task, and I think we assign them as a builder. Over here in the lower left-hand corner, oh, zoomed in on accident. Lower left-hand corner is your construction menu. So your nuggets or people, I'm just probably going to call them people because nuggets is a weird term for them in my opinion. They'll build some stuff by themselves, right? So stone hut complete, they will build this by themselves. The unique or special buildings you have to place yourself. And the first one you realistically want to do is going to be the constructor's hut. This allows you, as far as I understand it, this allows you to build and maintain more of those unique structures. So we'll go ahead and plop that down right there, and they'll get to work on that very shortly. It looks like we have one more kid who should be maturing here pretty soon. So overall, a little bit of a slower game, but it is very fun. It's a very fun game to me. If you're into those kind of like God Simulator, like city management games, you might enjoy this as well. It reminds me a lot of like, oh, I don't know, maybe like a game like Goddess in a way, but substantially cooler in terms of the scope or the wanted scope of the game. So I think once this comes out in like actual alpha or actual beta, rather, more than likely, you're going to see a lot of really cool features in terms of replayability and just like content in general. Right now it's a very it's almost like a technical, you know, demo more or less. You can kind of play for a little bit and then things stop kind of working the way you imagine they would, and it gets kind of crazy on you. But we expect it. It's not even an alpha, it's a pre-alpha. So you can't be really like salty or mad about it, honestly. You can see that we just had, oh, we had twins. Look at that, great job. Some of the researching mechanics here, they work, some of them don't. Just to kind of take a look here, like stuff like clothing. This doesn't work as far as I know. I don't think I actually researched that in the longer playthrough I did to kind of get familiarized with the game. This stuff might work, it's really hard to tell. The stone block and wood block materials, those are not implemented yet. The wheelbarrows are not implemented yet. So this will essentially increase their carrying capacity is what that do. It's what it do. It's what it does. Agriculture, the farms can be unlocked. Animal husbandry cannot be unlocked. Fire does, as far as I could tell, nothing. Like they're supposed to carry on torches and all that, but I didn't see them doing that. However, cooking works, so you can unlock the eatery, but they don't carry on torches. I don't know, it's kind of weird, the things that they decided to implement and not implement, I guess. But like I said, I'm gonna reserve judgment on it simply because it's not even an alpha game. Like, it's a pre-alpha game, but it is very promising if the developers can kind of pull through and deliver, you know, rather some of those more advanced features. I think it's going to be really cool. The textures are nice. I really like the graphics. It's kind of like that more, I don't know, like cartoony feel. Like this definitely reminds me of, like, I don't know, maybe playing like World of Warcraft on really low settings or something like that. But I'm sure there's going to be texture overhauls and stuff like that later on as well. By far, not even even close to finished product here. The constructor set, you essentially, why can we not assign people? We should be able to assign people. I just heard a wolf. That's frightening. So we have 2, 3, 4, 5. Billable workers 0. Okay, that's interesting. We should be able to assign somebody to the constructor side, right? So you can assign 2 people here, and like, right, so you can see here, like constructors H. it's a work in progress, and that's fine. Like, that's totally fine. Some of the things that I noticed just right out of the gate kind of playing the game, I've already mentioned, but other stuff like if you zoom out a bit, let's see if we can see something here. I noticed at one point there's like snowy biomes essentially like that. And if you mouse over them, your mouse cursor basically disappears and the tooltips become very, very, very hard to read. Let's see if I can get a good example here. Maybe not. Can we? We can't. That's okay. Are you gonna leave some stuff down? And see, like, the text looks kind of weird. Like, when you zoom out, it gets a little bit, like, I don't know. For me, that's a little bit hard to read. Like, I would like it to pop more or be, I don't know, more legible. Something like that. But, again, reserving judgment until they release some more content and kind of polish it up a little bit. Anyways, really fun game so far. It is a little bit limited, so if you do end up wanting to back it, just be aware of that. I thought that was a tree just kind of glitching out, but it was just snowflakes, so we're okay. A little bit limited, so if you do decide to back it or contribute to their funds in any way, shape, or form, just be aware of that. That's going to do it for this episode. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to see more, let me know. Leave a like, leave a comment, whatever you want to do. If you don't want to see more, let me know too. I'd be more than happy to keep playing it as far as we can, which will probably only be a couple episodes, but let me know. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you next episode.